There's now a collector's edition of the two Spider-Verse movies currently out, but should you get it now or wait until the eventual Beyond the Spider-Verse third movie to actually collect them all? Let's find out. Bit of a spoiler here, but the answer is kind of a cop-out because here's the thing. There's some unique little details happening with this specific collector's edition that happens to harness the power of both Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. This was recently released, and I believe it's being sold across different retailers, but the two main ones that you can find this at is either Amazon or Best Buy, I believe. And they were having some weird things going on with the price, but eventually it's almost like they settled on a $90 price tag. So this is going to set you back $90 for this collector's edition. And for the most part, it looks like quite a bit is being packed into this, especially if by some chance you don't happen to own any of the Spider-Verse movies up until this point. If you have, it really is going to fall down on your judgment after you see this unboxing video. Now, when you see the front here, you'll see that you actually have cool artwork. I just really wish that there was a way to incorporate characters from both Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, but you're mainly going to get both aesthetical designs and characters from Across the Spider-Verse, specifically the older Miles, Gwen, which could kind of be interswapped right there, but you can definitely tell that that's the new Peter B. Parker because Mayday is on the baby holster and he's got the bathtub robe, whatever that thing is, that sensitivity robe, to make sure that he doesn't harm Mayday when he's swinging about. And then, of course, Punk, 2099. You even have Spider-Cat back there, and Spider-Man India, Spider-Woman. So you'll see that this is mainly leaning towards Across the Spider-Verse as far as the front of the artwork. And that's all that I really want to say for now, because once we unwrap this and actually get to unboxing it, I want to break down the front of this artwork and this design a little further, because there seems to be a much more multi-dimensional feature going on with it. For now, I'll just note the little 4K Ultra Blu-ray digital thing, Spider-Verse 2 movie collector's edition. And again, that may bug some collectors' OCD, because I know that, money talks. And so you have a lot of companies that make these like 2 or 3 movie collection kind of bundles, but you know that there's another one coming. So you're kind of thinking, should I get this now? Should I wait? And there's really no right or wrong answer, and I'll break it down a little further once we unbox this. But for the time being, nothing really happens on the side or on the top. You just get the Spider-Man logo. It's the Spider-Verse logo, only without any of the subtitles, because you are dealing with 2 movies here. So you just get that on the sides as well as the bottom right here, and even on the top, except here, you see a little bit of that cardboard that kind of wraps around the box, and this time it says Spider-Verse 2 movie collector's edition with the 2 films, just to make sure that parents know exactly what they're buying, because you need to sometimes almost quite literally spell it out for them, but it is what it is. A brief description of what's included, but we'll take a look at that a little later. And then the back, which is pretty generic, breakdown of the synopsis for both, or synopsis, whatever. The descriptions of the 2 movies, their special features on the Blu-rays, credits, of course, specs for how the 4K and the digital copies work, and then a brief glimpse of what is included. But of course, I don't want to go into every single little detail here, because we're going to take a look at it once we start unwrapping, which we're going to do right now. And I believe Amazon themselves went ahead and gave me a little bit of a boost by having a little slit already kind of perforated here. That's a little disconcerting when pulling it out of the envelope, which did have bubble packaging, bubble kind of interior to protect it, but I still didn't feel as secure with it as boxes. Which I guess kind of begs the question, since we're now starting to get into the holiday shopping season, do you guys prefer to get your packages in boxes or in those little bubble infused wrappings or packages, those little bags? And there goes the box. Do you prefer one over the other, or does it really not matter? For me, I prefer the box. Just make sure you got an awful lot of that inflated bubble packaging, or those little like bubbles that you can pop that are really thick, to make sure that nothing is really bouncing all over the place inside. Upon removing the cellophane, doesn't look like there's any stickers to kind of keep, so we can actually freely toss that. And then, no, try not to get ahead of yourself here. Okay, all right. So we're going to remove that little paper insert, and on the back, okay, this is my first time seeing this. The right choice to have the Miles Morales Across the Spider-Verse symbol spray painted there on the back on a black background, so it's pretty sleek. Simplistic, but very sleek, very cool. And I do like that, again, it's the across version, not the Into the Spider-Verse version, because even though there is this level of novelty to that original spray painted one where he barely gets the suit at the end of Into the Spider-Verse, this one with the jagged legs, it just looks cooler. Come on, man. How can you go wrong with that? But yeah, like I said, logos are on the top and on the sides, so nothing really has changed. And then on the bottom, you'll notice that we have a couple of like little slits right here, and even a little pull piece right here made out of this ribbon fabric material that you can pull on. And you'll notice that when you do that, you'll have this little compartment that opens up down below that was already kind of getting ahead of itself. But I want to make sure that when we activate the little feature here, well, you'll notice that you have an actual little window on the front. This is what I wanted to kind of foreshadow a little earlier, that the front artwork actually has a 3D interdimensional effect happening with the window here. Beyond that point, you have another piece of cardboard that has the Spider-Cat, Peter B. Parker, and Spider-Man India, and then behind it, no other characters, but you just have like another portal to kind of give it a cool 3D effect. So I do really appreciate that. And this is kind of where we start to segue into why it is that maybe it's a good idea to jump at the chance of picking this thing up if you're a massive collector of Spider-Man movies, of physical media, and also you are loving the Spider-Verse movies thus far. We only got one more to go, but here's where things get a little... God damn it. All right. I just noticed that. The little bit here with... 2099's claws is unfortunately coming off, so mine's already a little bit on the defective side. So part of me that kind of wants to hit up Amazon, and it looks like it happened. Well, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch my unwrapping, because that might have either been user error, I might have pulled on that by accident with the plastic, or it came off like that. So future David will let you guys know here momentarily. Heyo, future David here, and it does look like after reviewing some of the footage during the editing process, this was in fact a manufacturer error. You can actually see Spider-Man 2099's gauntlet kind of folded in from inside of the wrapping prior to me actually unwrapping it. So unfortunately it looks like it's on the fault of the manufacturer, but nothing that a little bit of glue cannot fix. Anyways, back to the video. But moving on to what I was going to say is that there's no telling that when Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out and they release that eventual 3-pack, that they're going to do this thing again. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's that whole level of uncertainty that makes us collectors go, well, we got to pick this up. I mean, we got, there's no level of knowing, and this is one of the first releases, we got to do it. So the bane of every collector's existence, the gift and the curse. But we're going to go ahead and move on with the unboxing itself. Upon going down here and pulling on this little nice compartment, I think you pretty much get everything that is included. The whole front, okay. Yeah, because it doesn't look like it opens up in any other capacity. So yeah, all right. I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of neat, but also, especially for conveniences. But at the same time, it's kind of a bummer that the 3D effect is kind of locked. So that's kind of a, I guess, a built-in feature with the set. So you can't, okay, it's part of my naivete speaking here. But I was kind of hoping that maybe this 3D effect could be played with. Maybe you can like rotate this to show other characters from the Spider-Verse. I don't know. I was hoping for some hidden effect of that nature, but it looks like that's not the case. It looks like only this bottom part can be slid out to give you the contents that are inside. And then the 3D effect is kind of just locked in place because you notice that nothing else can be kind of messed around with in this front part that houses that 3D effect. So that just kind of stays there, I guess, for display purposes. So we'll just go ahead and move on with what's inside here, which the first thing they're going to be greeted with. All right. This is actually kind of neat. It's actually been a minute since I got something like this because of how vintage it is. But I really would not be opposed to getting a vinyl player in the future, especially when me and the girlfriend finally move out, because then we'll actually have a place for it. We'll have a time for it so that then we can actually, pop in a vinyl, listen to some music while we're cooking, while we're doing stuff. And one of those vinyls that we can pop on is going to be the 45 7-inch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse vinyl. From what I can tell, it looks like it's only got 2 songs on it. So on one side, you got Calling, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse by Metro Boomin, Sway Lee, I can't remember what song that plays during, what scene this song plays during. That's side A, which is the song Calling. I want to say that's when he. Yeah, I don't want to get it wrong. I'll just have to look it up. I do know, however, that side B has "Am I Dreaming" by Metro Boomin and A$AP Rocky featuring Rose. That's the end credit song. So that for sure I know is the end credit song. You have the logo. You have, of course, credits, details, producer, whatever. I do, however, like the little hidden feature or hidden detail of having the different spider logos down there at the bottom, specifically for your friendly neighborhood spider people that help you out. So you have Miles. I believe you have Spider-Man India. I want to say that's Gwen, and then Spider-Punk on that side. On the other side, it doesn't look like there's any logos, unfortunately, but it is a white decor for the label there, so that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and slide it out really, really quickly just to kind of show you guys here, but I'm always kind of scared of touching the little rivets of a vinyl because I always want to treat these things with care. So there you go. There's the vinyl, looking pretty slick. Gonna put it right there to keep it from damaging. And then looking further into the box, you'll have this little compartment that then gives you a couple of other little goodies. Looks like this is all one giant piece, actually. Oh, kind of. When you remove that, however, before we move on, you have that cool little interdimensional neon spider logo. I don't know if that's any specific spider logo. I want to say it's Miles's, but there's just something a little different about it. Maybe it's just the color coding, maybe the little spray pop art kind of look to it that maybe throws me off just a tad. But overall, looks pretty neat. Going back to what I mentioned before about the back packaging, only that one being fully red. But waiting for you inside of that one is going to be this little insert that you can fold out on the front. You have Miles from the poster, but yeah, as you can tell, we definitely have it upside down because that's not how the poster looks like. It's actually like this. Actually, wait, hold on. Did they print this upside down? What the hell? Because the discs are... Okay, hold on. We'll get to that. Unless the discs are loose. Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to spoil. We have to open this up because... Yeah, alright. God damn it. Why do companies keep doing this? The goddamn disc is loose. It's one of my biggest pet peeves whenever I buy physical media, those discs are loose. My God! Sorry for yelling into the microphone, but god damn it. All right, so spoilers, there's the discs. There you get 2 discs per movie across the Spider-Verse. Right here, I actually really do like this artwork on this one right here. That's actually pretty neat. But this is the 4K, this is the Blu-ray, yada, yada, yada. Fine, we'll set them to the side since they're already kind of popping out. There's the the 4K, I'm sorry, for Into the Spider-Verse with a little bit of that graffiti art. And the Blu-ray for Into the Spider-Verse with the mural that Miles is painting with Uncle Aaron in that scene, right about right there. Cool, cool, cool. But since they went ahead and did the job for us, waiting for you inside is that panoramic view of Miles and Miles and Gwen on the upside down portion of the clock tower with that iconic shot. I think they kind of got rid a little bit of the skyline, the New York skyline, to make sure that this is friendly for this insert. But there you have what's waiting inside. And then on the other side is going to be, I guess they really did print it upside down because you technically have to flip it this way to get what's technically the proper poster art of Miles upside down with the different spider people behind him and the little bit of the negative inverted colorized version of New York down there at the bottom. This is a very cool piece of art that they made for the poster, and it's cool that they used that for the insert here in the middle. And yes, I do know that there's a hidden Easter egg within here. Bit of a spoiler in case you have not seen Across the Spider-Verse by some mere, detriment to yourself and to others. But in case you haven't seen it, a bit of a spoiler, but this poster, way back when, actually spoiled who's against Miles and who is for Miles. Basically, everyone on this side is on Miles' team, except for maybe 2008 Spider-Man, because, as much as I love Spectacular Spider-Man, it sounded like he was on Miguel's side in that scene, so kind of interesting that they put him over here. But there you have pretty much the whole of the team that's behind Miles and is supporting Miles. Whereas over here, we have most of the team that is trying to capture Miles because they believe him to be the anomaly. So obviously, you got Miguel, Spider-Woman, Ben Reilly, the Spinneret, Insomniac Peter right there, because he was trying to capture him when Miguel called out for all stations to help out. But yeah, it looks like it was printed a little weird. I don't know if this is a defect, but technically, this is the inside. So if you flip it horizontally, you get that. So I don't know. Am I tripping? Is this weird? Am I dreaming? And lastly, you do get these nice little art cards. However, here at the end are actually going to be the codes for both Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, which I'm gonna pull off to the side here, but they may or may not show up in this video. I don't know. They may have already shown up and you didn't know what those were. And maybe that's what they were this whole entire time. Kind of like how these movies put little details that warrant a second viewing. Maybe you have to watch this video again. I don't know. Future editor David might know. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, you get these nice, cool little inserts. It looks like they're a little bit on the bigger side because this one feels like it's foldable. So let me check. Oh, okay. We'll get to this one. Hold on. But here are the poster art cards right here, where they're pretty much the covers that you see throughout the movie that get kind of slapped on the ground whenever we transition to a different scene. There's Brooklyn's finest, Miles Morales, that pops up when he's introducing himself. Right about right there. Gwen, when she introduces herself. I'm trying to remember if this showed up in this movie. Oh, no. I think this is from Into the Spider-Verse when she introduced herself. So there's Spider-Gwen. Team up with Ultimate Spider-Man. The Ultimate Team Up by Latour, Rodriguez, and Renz. That's cool. It's cool that you have the original artists' names right there. Put that off to the side right here. Okay, now I know that they're kind of crossing in and out between the Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse stuff, because this is definitely from Into the Spider-Verse when Peter B. Parker tells us his very depressing story. And you can see right there with the trench coat and everything. And I love the classic look to the Amazing Spider-Man logo. Who is Spider-Man? Even he doesn't know at this point. Sad. But yeah, you have that right there. And lastly, Spider-Man 2099. And I dig that it has the aesthetic from when he originally appeared in the comics. You even have the date right there, November 1st, the little stamp for the approval and everything. So these are really, really collectible and nice, to the point where even if maybe, like I said, I find my own place and I have my own little den, these would be cool to kind of frame up and put somewhere. But the nice cherry on top would have to be the little replica of the sketchbook that Miles uses throughout both movies, specifically to paint and draw Gwen over and over and over. And it looks like we're going to be seeing that a little bit here. You obviously have the front right there with some writing right here. I don't exactly know what that says, but you have, of course, an awful lot of cool graffiti art and a little stamped out UPC code right there because it is something that he bought. But you'll notice that on the front, you have an awful lot of Gwen, a little bit of Aaron, and then Benjamin Parker right there. So that's pretty cool. Flip it. Once again, more Gwen, a little bit of Aaron, rest in power. So you'll see that right there. A little bit of Doc Ock and Peter fighting from Into the Spider-Verse. More Gwen. But yeah, it's cool that they pretty much just took all the pictures that you saw. A little grocery list right here. His ticket for the Hudson Valley trip that he took with Peter during that first movie. That's awesome. You see that right there. So yeah, pretty cool as far as the actual replication of the images. They actually do look drawn on there. Now, I know that this is probably going to make me sound petty. Eggs and milk. To make some of those cool Puerto Rican desserts. But my only major disappointment is that you'll notice that it's pretty much just paper stapled together. Like when I saw this, I thought it was maybe a collection of the art cards stapled together, and maybe I was gonna get something a little bit more concrete for his sketchbook. And it's just this. It's kind of like teetering on just being a brochure. I kind of wish that they would have spent a little bit of extra quality on the covers, on the front and back. The inside part, the pages, and the way that they look, pretty cool. But the actual covers that hold it all together, like these last couple the last page and the first page, kind of wish that they would have added an extra like construction paper that's a little thicker. You know, that really thick, you know, very rigid cardboard that they used for some booklets sometimes. Kind of wish that they would have used that. Instead, it's the same paper from beginning to end. And I'm like, guys, could have spent a little extra cash on the budget, because I don't like this. But that's just my personal opinion, and that pretty much concludes everything that you get included in this collector's edition. And going back to what I was saying is that you don't necessarily know if they're going to do this again. In my opinion, especially with the way things are going with physical media, there's no telling if the vinyl's going to be included again. Maybe the cardboard inserts here for the different comic covers as well as the replica sketchbook, with my complaints aside, those kind of things could probably still be brought back. But the vinyl and, of course, the discs themselves, the way that physical media is going with one of the major retailers out there, Best Buy, no longer carrying it, even though they're technically still selling it on their website right now, including this set itself, it kind of does make you wonder, should you pull the trigger now, especially with the holiday season coming up? I would personally say yes, this is actually a really good idea for that special someone that you want to get a gift for and they absolutely love these Spider-Verse movies thus far, even though we technically still have one more movie to come out. Two things: you don't know if they're going to pull something like this again, because again, my personal predictions as to where physical media is going. But also, there's no telling when that movie is going to come out, because it has been delayed indefinitely, especially with the writer's strike, but also because these movies do take a while to come out, with the quality of the animation, the voice talent, the writing, making sure that they end things on a really satisfying note, especially with the end of the trilogy being Beyond the Spider-Verse. It was set to come out next year, and now it's been delayed indefinitely, so who knows specifically when we're getting that movie, and thereafterwards when we're going to get a physical collector's edition of not just that singular film through some form of steelbook or digibook, but then also a collector's edition that has all three movies, and whether or not they're going to pull something like this again, or if they're going to end up cheapening out and not do something as fancy as this, even though, like I said, they could have spent a little extra money on that sketchbook. But that's just me personally speaking. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that this is a worthwhile collector's edition for the current Spider-Verse movies released on home media? Do you think that this is a good pickup for a holiday present, perfect for that special someone like I mentioned before? Or do you personally feel like it's necessary to just wait because your OCD says, I want to get all three movies in one singular package, and getting this means that later on you're gonna have to spend extra money on a steelbooks, extra money on that collector's edition for the trilogy? I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below, and as always, if you guys enjoyed this unboxing, hit the thumbs up. If not, hit the thumbs down, and I'll see you guys later. Take care and stay humble.
Oh, NYC. You idiot.